Kom indenfor. Nu skal I se, hvis I smutter over i sofaen og sidder herovre, så sætter jeg mig her.
You've tried to talk to friends, family and others around you to understand yourself.
Forskelligt, hvordan man har det dag til dag i hvert fald, synes jeg.
Then you contact a psychiatrist to see if it can help you.
Er der nogen, der har sagt til dig i skolen, du har været urolig?
Psychiatrist Jakob Ørnberg explains the process of diagnosing whether you have ADHD.
Ikke fordi jeg ikke kan lide undervisning og sådan noget, men man sidder meget ned.
I would talk to you about the ideas you have about how you experience your life. And I would also be very interested in whether you're comfortable with your family, who are often with you during our talk, and hear how you're communicating together at home. That would be important for me to know.
Det vil være vigtigt for mig at finde ud af.
Klatret op i træer og som sagt også i skovbørnehaven.
The psychiatrist will need several consultations in order to get an overview of your challenges. Do you remember what it was like to start in school? I think I was probably quite wild and often got into quarrels. I'll ask a lot about what you as a young person think and feel and how you get by in your everyday life. What you're good at and what can be problematic or really hard. And I'll sometimes ask you some things that people commonly think everyone can do. Other times I'll ask you about some things that can be really difficult. Sometimes people come to me and tell me that they can lose their temper completely simply because their parents say it's time for dinner. Sometimes if I'm discussing or something, then instead of just stopping, I can get dizzy with rage. ADHD is often associated with quick-tempered people, but it can be very different. Yet there are some traits that recur in people with ADHD. What characterizes many with ADHD is that they often feel that they're stressed. Often they have chaotic lives. They find that it goes up and downhill a lot in the course of just one day, from being happy and in a great mood to thinking that everything is terrible. Melder's been ahead of the curve and he's wanted to take the initiative, but his motor skills haven't always been there. An evaluation may be very different depending on which psychiatrist you have, but there are some commonalities. There's a lot to indicate that ADHD is something you're born with, so it's important to look at whether you've had symptoms from when you were a child. Of course, children are also different in general, so we didn't give it much thought during his childhood. Therefore, it's important to talk with your parents because there are definitely things they remember that you don't remember from when you were a child. What you need to do is concentrate. When you see the black box is at the bottom, you don't click. During some evaluations, you can complement the study with computer tests, examining how well people use their attention and their ability to hold back. Is there anything that you think are important for me to know to be able to help you properly? Although your parents are important during the process, it's first and foremost you it's all about. Legally, I have patient confidentiality, and it's obvious enough that when you're young, you have a life, you don't necessarily share everything with your parents, but it can be really important for me, if I'm able to help you, that I actually know everything that goes on in your life. It's not because I want to pry or control, but simply because it's important for me to be able to help you. I don't know, I think it sounds a bit severe. You have a family that supports you, you actually have some good friends, and in fact you also have some ideas about what you want to do with your life. In the end, it's important to understand your ADHD in order to feel better. Very often I meet people whose surroundings think that they're ill-mannered or lazy or sloppy, when really it's about you having some difficulties. Then we need to talk about what we can do to help you get better. And there are many possibilities. First and foremost, it's immensely important to understand. It's like you have to know if you have a broken leg, you don't go out and play sports, but you rest. So it's really important to know when you have attention difficulties, what's good for you to do and what can be bad for you.
Der er jo mange andre ting, man kan gøre i sin hverdag.